These cost me just a few dollars, but they look like they came from a high-end store. Let me show you how I made these using simple wood rounds.
Hi, I'm Loli. Let's create something beautiful and find a little joy along the way.
For this one, we are using a wood round from Dollar Tree. I'm going to remove that tag. And this one was a little bit chipped, so we're going to use the other side of it. I'm going to paint it with one coat of this gold brilliant paint from Crackle. Once it's dried, I'm going to come in with one of these doilies from Dollar Tree as well. And I'm going to remove one of them. And I added some of this spray-on adhesive that I got from Dollar Tree all over the surface. And I would have done this differently if I knew how it turned out. But if you do this, I would say just use a glue stick or something like this. This ended up so wet and it took forever to dry. So don't make this mistake I made. I positioned it there on here, but my thought process here was that it was going to be like a decoupage kind of thing and it's going to, absorb onto it and it would look like it was all one piece. It didn't quite turn out that way, but that's fine. We're going to remove the wrinkles as you see there, any bubbles, and I'm going to just go ahead and add some more adhesive on top of it just to seal it up. And then once everything is nicely saturated, I'm going to come in with a piece of, it's not a paper towel, it's like a reusable towel Dollar Tree has. And once everything is saturated there and everything is pretty much attached to the wood round, I'm going to just blot it down as you see there, removing any excess moisture so this dries a lot easier and a lot more even. While that dries, I'm going to take this. It's not from a Christmas section, but it's really more of a wintry Christmas bag from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to position this beaded ring over it. I want to make sure that it's nicely straight. So I'm going to go ahead and bend it in a couple of places and make sure that it's straight. And I want the letters that say winter wishes to be nicely centered. Once I'm happy with that, I'm going to flip over my ring and add some tight bond to all the beads in the back. Here, I will say if you're able, tape your beads in the front area so they don't spin around. They did for me, and that was a pain in the butt. But anyway, I left a couple of beads without any glue so I can add some hot glue so I have that immediate hold. But be very careful here that you don't burn yourself. And then quickly center your beads exactly where you want them. And here you can see how some of the beads were turning around and the glue was going sideways instead of onto the paper. Then I just cut off some of the section of the bag using scissors, but to have the best um, or cleanest look on this, I took my X-Acto knife and I just run it like right below the beads, as you say there. Not cutting the section that's attached to the beads, but just very close to it. So you're not able to see that paper on there. And I did that all the way around until you can no longer see the paper. And I set it aside to dry. Meanwhile, we're going to come back and add this to the top here of the wood round. To attach it again, we're going to come in with that tight bond. If you're interested in getting the tight bond, I will be linking it in my description box below as well. And I added it to all the sides. I only did it to the edges here because that's where you have the beads and where you will be able to do some pressure as you put this down the best. And I also didn't want to wrinkle my Christmas bag or my gift bag in any way. So I'm just doing it that way. Once that was attached, we are going to add, actually, no, I'm going to remove any overhang of that doily offer here. So I'm just using my zip sander, just doing gently downward motions on those edges to remove the excess paper. And I did that to all the sections where I had any overhang. Now we are going to take some ribbon. This ribbon came from Michael's from a grab bag that I got some years back. I'm just going to do a loop as you see there, cut off that excess, put it to the side for now. Then I'm going to take some of the ribbon here that I got from Dollar General. I got this from. But before that, I'm going to take the hanger that the bag came with and I'm going to use it as the hanger for my wood round. I'm just going to feed it through the front so those browns are in the back and it has a nice clean look in the front. All right, so then we're going to take here, this gold ribbon. I wasn't sure if I was going to use the silver or the gold. I went for the gold, and I'm going to create a loop like I did with the previous ribbon, but the loop is going to be a little bit smaller. We're going to go ahead and cut off the excess and position that on top of the other one. But we're going to also remove some of these little metal prongs that were poking out as well. All right, so once we have those there and they're looking good, I'm going to take this little bow. This bow came from the pack also. It was in the top embellish in the pack. So I'm going to scrunch up in the middle both of the loops that I created to create individual little bows, put them on top of each other. And then this bow right here had a little tight twist tie on it. I'm going to use that twist tie to tie the other two bows to it, creating this triple decker bow. Then I took the edge of this little twist tie and I fed it underneath of that wire where that beaded wreath garland is, and that was perfect to attach it. I thought it looked beautiful like this, but I needed a little bit more. So I decided to use this pick from Dollar Tree, and I'm removing these spine pieces off of it and putting one of each pieces here on the sides of it. And I'm going to secure it behind the bow with a bit of hot glue. I'm just adding some hot glue right there, adding a little pull of it, and then holding it there in place until the hot glue dried. And I did the same thing with the other side. And it was looking like little lamb's ears here. So I decided, you know what, let's add a little bit of color to this. So the berries, I thought they looked very beautiful against that gold. So I added a little bit of hot glue on the end right here and tucked it into that pine piece behind the bow. And I did the same thing with the other side as well. At this point, then I'm like, oh, this looks like Mary had a little lamb, and those little things look like little lamb's ears. So I decided to take these pieces from another pick from Dollar Tree just to bring down a little bit of a wispy field here in the greenery. And I did the same thing with this side as well. But I thought at this point, you know what, it looks a little bit scanty. So I just kept adding greenery on here until I was happy with it. And friends, I have to tell you that this turned out so beautiful. I love the way it turned out. I'm looking at it. It would have been pretty the way it was before, and it's pretty the way it is now as well. Please let me know in the comment section what do you think about this one. And if you are team greenery, or should I just left it with just the bow? Let me know in the comment section what do you think about this project. For this one, I'll be using one of these margarita glasses that I got from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to paint it with 2 coats of my Folk Art Richback chalk paint. I'm going to go ahead and assist with drying with my heat gun. Once it was completely dry, I'm going to come in with some of this school glue that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add a generous amount onto the surface. I'm going to work in small sections until I have this completely covered. So the trick here is to put a generous amount. Then I took my paintbrush and I'm going to paint it on, but I don't want it to be no too thin, but neither too thick. It's kind of like, you want to see here exactly what I mean by that. You're going to put that amount over here. And once they paint, or actually not the paint, once they glue is just a bit tacky, we're going to come in with another paint. I'm going to use this rose stolen and white chalk paint, and I'm going to add some on here. Here, if you use the paint kind of thick over this, you're going to end up with less of, I'm going for a crackle finish here. So if you use your paint nice and thick, you're going to end up with less crackle, but thicker cracks. If you go lighter with the paint, then you'll have more crackles and thinner crackles. So here you'll see as I'm applying the heat, you're going to see how that paint starts to crackle underneath of that glue. And that's just the reaction that the heat does with this, with the glue underneath. It's just something that happens, and you can able to do the crackle finish like this. You can do the same thing with crackle medium, but this is another way if you don't have it. And I did that to the entire glass. Once it was dry, I'm going to come in with this wood round right here. If you cannot find this wood round from Dollar Tree, you can use this one that is a little bit smaller from this pack at $3 Tree also carries, but I'm going to use this one right here. I'm just going to remove that piece of twine that it has on the sides. It was easiest for me to just pull it off as you see there, and then remove the remaining staples using my staple remover. If you're interested in any of the products that I use in this video, I will be linking them in my description box below. Okay, so then I remove my tag here, and I'm going to stain the entire wood round with some antique wax from Waverly. And here, you cannot see it, but off camera, I have a little bit of water in a container on the side there. So as I'm staining, I'm dipping my paintbrush a little bit onto that water, and then just slightly watering down my antique wax pretty much by just having the brush wet. So I just kept doing that until I had both sides, and also I did the sides, the bark area of the wood round as well. Once I let it dry, we're going to go ahead and attach this to the bottom portion of a margarita glass. I had some paint there in the edges, so I took my little zip sander and I'm sanding that off so I have a nice clean surface so I'm able to attach this. Then I added some of my Tide Bond and a little bit of hot glue. I'm using mostly the Tide Bond. You're going to see me put it in most of the areas here. And then I'm going to come in small areas that I left open for just a tad bit of hot glue. This is just so I have immediate hold. The Tide Bond will be the one giving the hold long term on here. Then I took my margarita glass and I positioned it onto my wood round. This is the easiest way to make sure that you're doing it centered. I pressed it down and then put it back the way I want it, like this. And now we have a beautiful stand. Then we're going to take this candle wreath that I found at Dollar Tree. And I'm going to use this candle also from Dollar Tree. We're going to position the candle onto that candle wreath. And this had a few places that had empty areas. And there were browns there where you can put more floral. So what I did is I took some pieces from leftover picks from Dollar Tree and I added these wispy pieces that had some of that glitter on it just to add a bit more height and a lot more sparkle to this. And I did it in all the three areas that had some areas or had a place where you can put an extra one. It had two empty browns, so I added a wispy piece from this pick and one of the stubby pieces from the same pick on there next to each other to give different heights on here. Then I came in with these red berry pieces from Walmart, and I'm adding a little bit of hot glue to the edge of the piece of where I cut it, and I'm gluing it onto the plastic area that rim of that candle ring or Carlin garland or candle wreath, I don't know what you want to call it, has on there. I'm not adding it to the wood round nor to the candle. I'm just filling up that ring that we positioned on there. And I just kept adding the different florals on there in a way that I enjoyed and liked. And I did this one. I also came in with these other wispy pieces. Actually, no, first I took these holly pieces here to go to the other areas that I felt was still a bit scanty, just to make this a bit fuller. And I did it in three different areas. So just cut it short as you see there, added some hot glue to that. And again, I'm adding the glue to that plastic rim. So if I remove this, it will not be attached to the wood round nor to the candle. And I did three pieces on here in three different areas. Then I came in with these wispy pieces that I have left over from other picks as well, and removing the bottom piece as you see there, adding a bit of hot glue and sticking them here and there just to add a different tone of green in there and a different variety as well on here. And this came out so beautiful. The camera does not give it justice. Please let me know in the comment section what you think about this piece and if you will recreate it or if you have any suggestions on what you will do differently. I am always open to suggestions and I also love to hear your thoughts and your creativity at work. And subscribe for more fun ideas. My friend, today's video is part of the Wood Round or Wreath Wednesday, and this collaboration is done on the fourth Wednesday of every month, and we do DIYs using wood rounds and wreath forms. And this collaboration is hosted by my friend Aurea from DIY with Aurea and myself, and we have an amazing playlist for you, so make sure that you check out the link in the description box below and show everyone some love. For this one, we'll be using this set of wood rounds from Dollar Tree, this beautiful frame also from Dollar Tree, and one of these snowman prints from Temu. I ended up picking this one right here. I love that color. I positioned the decorative frame over my image, centering my snowman, and then I'm going to take a pen, and you're going to need one of these retraction pens for this because if you use it like this, they does not go all the way to the hole, so you're able to mark. So I had to like press on the retractor thing in the top so the end of the pen will stick out a little bit further, and that way I was able to go through all the nook and crannies here and mark this section. So later on I'm able to remove this and just take the scissors and follow the pattern and cut off the excess paper. If you enjoyed today's content, don't forget to hit that like button. Thank you so much. Once we had our perfect circle, I came back with that decorative piece and painted it with one coat of rust-on and white chalk paint. Then I took some antique wax and a chip brush and I'm going to lightly distress the entire surface. Friend, if you can please let me know in the comment section where you're watching from. I love to know how far my videos are reaching, and share because sharing is caring and it helps my channel grow. Thank you so much. And if you love the video, hype me up. All right, now we're going to take a wood round and paint it with some ballet slipper from Waverly. And I did both sides. And I'm taking some antique wax and my chip brush and also distressing this. I'm going to start with a light distressing here of the entire surface. And once I had the entire surface all distressed, I'm going to come in and do my edges as well. In the edges, I'm going to come in a little bit darker than I did in the midsections. And that's just to give it a little bit more dimension. While that dries, I took my decorative piece here and we're going to attach the image to it. I'm going to turn it around, and with this side that is not painted, I'm going to add some of my Tide bun, but not too much so it seeps through the edges. So I'm just adding a small amount to it, and I'm centering my image back on there, making sure to press it down nice and firm once I'm happy with the placement. I'm going to just let it sit for about 10 minutes to dry. Next, we are going to attach this piece to our wood round. I'm going to again use some of my Tide bun Quick and Thick. I want this to stay put. With this one, you can also use some hot glue or some wood glue. The hot glue, though, is going to leave a little bit of spaces so it can seep through. So I will really recommend going with either the Tide bun Quick and Thick or some wood glue. Then we're going to go ahead and position that in place, and I'm going to put this overnight on it to dry. Next day I removed it and it was nicely attached. Now we're going to take this mirror that I got from Dollar Tree. I will not be using the mirror part, so I remove the back end and I remove the mirror from the cardboard, being very careful not to break the cardboard because I will be using that. I'm just going to put the mirror section to the side. I'm going to position the wood round that I just created right into this frame. And guys, it is a perfect fit. Look at this. Just go ahead and pop it right in. Then we're going to go ahead and reposition the back end, but just be sure that when you position in the back end, you see exactly in what direction your image is going. So you put that hanger directly where the top of the image goes so nothing is lopsided, and then reposition that cardboard. And it's a little bit tricky because it has a little bit of teeth on there, but just you have to kind of like pull it and push the cardboard underneath and do that until all the prongs are holding that piece of cardboard in place. And this was looking nice just like this, but I wanted to elevate this a bit. So I took some of my rub and buff in the color gold leaf, and I'm going to add very little to my paintbrush as you see there. And a little bit goes a long way. I'm going to go ahead and just brush it or dry brush it all over my frame, going in the same direction as you see there, in the direction of the circle. And look how this elevates the style so well. I absolutely love how this turned out. Let me know in the comments section what you think about this project.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed today's episode, here are a couple more videos you are sure to enjoy. Thank you so much for stopping by. You're amazing. Bye.